What if you were able to spend 1 hour with a YouTuber with over 1.5 million subscribers? Or someone who created a Facebook community of over 100,000 members? What would you ask them? We were able to interview 2 successful influencers at UCI's Merage School of Business, and we want to share what they said.
That's where now we're at 102,000. We're over at 252,000 on Instagram.
That's the kind of stuff you kind of have to be prepared for.
Wow, so all I gotta do is talk about gout and I can have 10 pounds. It's awesome.
Anything Filipino relatable, really.
There you go.
So the reason why I chose YouTube versus like Instagram, Facebook, all these other ones was that
Like if you focus on like one mission, because then you're building your own personal brand.
it takes a lot of work to grow a YouTube channel, and but it's worth it.
Influencer marketing could be super important for your business. Go ahead and watch this panel to see why.
Hi, I'm Edwin Ballo with FILAM. We're here at the Merage School of Business at UCI, and we're taking on our very first event where we have a panel of influencers. The name of the event is called The Power of Influencers, and we have 2 panelists that you'll hopefully be able to learn a lot from and hopefully get your business off the ground.
What's great about tonight's event too is that the 2 influencers are of Filipino descent, and they've created 2 powerful ways in social media in order to actually gain traction, whether you have a business or whether you're doing something personally for yourself. Jeanelle Castro with 1.55 million in followers on YouTube, and then Lustina, creator of SoCal, Filipinos, with over 100,000 followers on Facebook and 250,000 followers on Instagram. So we have a lot of powerful people here tonight, a lot of Filipinos who have done a lot of great work, and we're happy to bring it to you, and we are FILAM.
If you're one of those businesses that you're finding yourself hiring countless vendors and you just can't seem to get momentum out there, these 2 influencers were able to build their audience through organic reach. So we hope that you'll be able to learn from some of these tips.
People want that connection with each other. And what was even more amazing is it wasn't really the pandemic where we grew more. After the pandemic, when we started opening up, that's where now we're at 102,000. We're over at 252,000 on Instagram. And our network's continually to grow, because now it's not just SoCal Filipinos. Now we're touching everybody, not just here in the United States, but even globally.
Wow, so all I gotta do is talk about gout and I can have 10 pounds. It's awesome.
Anything Filipino relatable, really.
There you go.
And then Jeanelle, same question. What inspired you to start your YouTube channel?
I started my YouTube channel because I just didn't want to work my corporate job anymore, and I was working through I was talking to different people. I even went through coaching and stuff like that, just to be like, how do I want my life to be in the next 20, forever, I guess. And I guess I was just looking at the people around me, and I was like, I don't really want to live the 9-to-5 corporate life. I want to do something a little bit more. And so YouTube was just naturally the thing I went for, because I grew up making videos at home, just for funsies. I would just for hours make videos just because. And obviously I'm doing it for as a career. There's money in YouTube, and I wouldn't just be doing it just for fun if I knew that I couldn't actually have a good, thriving life with it. So yeah, it was a bumpy start, but now we're here, and yeah, it takes a lot of work to grow a YouTube channel, and but it's worth it.
I almost forgot, actually, talking about making money in YouTube. I almost forgot to tell you to bring one of the trophies that you get. But the plaque. Yeah, the plaque, and then there's a couple of things, right? Yeah. Can you tell us what some of the milestones as a YouTube influencer? I think it's I don't know if it's 100,000, yeah. 500,000, and then what you actually receive, and also what some of the monetary things you could expect.
Yeah, sure. So then as a content creator for YouTube specifically, they'll give you a plaque. So their silver plaque is at 100,000. The gold plaque is at 1 million, and then 10 million is the diamond plaque, right? So we've got some time for that one, yeah. And then you said some monetary?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the reason why I chose YouTube versus Instagram, Facebook, all these other ones was that YouTube is well known to be good at paying their creators. And I knew in the beginning, it was the hardest one to start as well, because the YouTube algorithm just will test you as a creator. They're not gonna give you the views until you put in the time. That's just how it is. But they're very good with paying you out with AdSense. So you have AdSense at the very least, and then you got the brand deals coming in. And the more people know you, you get obviously free stuff too sometimes. I get like free food and stuff like that. But at the I always tell people this, but like in the beginning you think you're in there for the free food and the free stuff. But once you actually start getting the free stuff automatically, that's when you should be getting paid a lot. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities beyond. I mean, like we're speaking, I'm able to speak here, which is really cool because I was about to do Paul Merage, but yeah, I graduated at UCI, and it's just cool to like be able to talk about my journey.
That's awesome, Jeanelle. Yeah, so I have a lot to learn from you because so far I've made $28. Not bad. Right? Well, they don't actually pay you till you actually hit $100, right? So, anyways, got a long way to go. So, anyways, Jason, I mean, you're an influencer in a different way, right? So you created a group, actually a bunch of different groups. But I'm going to ask you something. So, who are your favorite influencers and why?
Ooh, that's a tough question to pick. Like my favorite ones, it all depends on like the different categories, right? I love Kevin Nadal, especially when you talk about Filipino social issues as well as like historical. He's a great one. He's also a UCI alum. We're the same year. I do love collaborating with or looking at Hungry Hugh. I was lucky, we'll probably talk about this later, I was lucky to get him onto the SoCal Filipinos team, so now he's part of our SoCal Filipinos team. He has over 600,000 followers. He does mainly food content. Fonz is a good one. There's a lot that are out there that are like Filipino specific, depending on the subject. For comedic, Otaki Yakisoba with him and his mom is pretty hilarious. But there's a lot out there.
Same question. That's hard because, like you mentioned, it's the category. But if we're talking Filipino, Bretman Rock, because Bretman Rock's so funny, and I just feel like he transcended, like he's like celebrity status, which I think is so cool. But then I'm very involved in the food space, so I love watching a bunch of food creators. Some of them do kind of documentary style, and so I like to just learn more about food through these different creators. Beryl Shereshevsky, she's my friend. She does like food around the world. My friend Lisa Wen, she's the one that taught me about YouTube Shorts, and is the reason why I'd like to always give her a shout out because she's the one that helped me with my journey. And then Emmy Maid, she does also food from around the world, and she was the reason why I started my channel because I watched her stuff.
Yeah,
we were really surprised nobody mentioned Jaycation. Everybody else watch him? Just me?
You're the only one.
He has 3 followers.
And it's you?
No, he has a few 100,000. Yeah.
So anyways,
Go ahead.
Jeanelle brought up Bretman, but we were lucky to have him. One of our board of directors, Lyle, actually threw an event, and Bretman was there. Bella Porch was there as well. So those are 2 huge influencers that are out there, that are Filipino. But like collaboration is always an important thing, no matter what industry. But also, like when you're doing social media, collaboration is key. I mean, I need to get Jeanelle on my team so I can get past $28. But
yeah. She can reach our 3 followers.
Yeah, exactly. But Jason, do you have a collaboration story you want to share?
Ooh, that's a good question. To back up, also, I do need to thank. She doesn't know. Like, she's the reason why our Instagram account grew so quickly. Gigi Hadid actually liked one of our posts, and we got so many messages like, I'm here because Gigi Hadid liked your post. So I was like, she's the reason why we got like such a big growth in such a short amount of time. So thank you, Gigi Hadid, wherever you are. You're the reason why we grew so fast. Collaboration, I mean, we do a lot of collaboration posts. I mean, we collaborate with Face, we collaborate with Kevin Nadal a lot, especially like when it comes to issues. There was one where, because as also a nonprofit, we're all inclusive, we're all welcoming. There was an issue with the LGBTQIA plus community, and we were celebrating Transgender Awareness Day, and we got so much backlash. We had so many people unfollow, and I shared that with Kevin. And Kevin, being a good friend of mine, I was like, "What can we do?" He was like, "You know what? I'll just do a post. We'll collab." and then we'll let my followers deal with the people that are trolling the account. So, I mean, the collaborations are great, especially when you're addressing issues. But we do a lot of collaborations also. I mean, like you, we do have brand deals now. We do get a lot of free food. But now at this point, like with our with the brands that want to work with us, we get to pick and choose which ones, because we want to make sure that anybody that we're working with, organization, product, that it still represents the Filipino community, and it'll benefit the community that we represent.
And then Jeanelle, same question.
Oh, yeah. So I think, at least in my world, collaborations have been very helpful in networking. For us, it's considered networking. So I'll have a bunch of other food creators, maybe we'll get together, maybe we'll all make videos. It's usually pretty casual, or at least like those are the types of people that I like to work with. So knowing these people, like some of them have like, X amount of followers, some of them have, let's say maybe not followers, but influence like in their community. And so just through knowing them, I'm able to like maybe speak at YouTube or Google, or like we're able to go to like Google Kitchen and meet all these important people that could help you just get to where you need to in the industry. So yeah, I think for us too, like you collab, but then you also end up being friends. And I think it's really important that like, even though you're collaborating with people, you like them enough and you're not just doing it just because, you're trying to, like you mentioned, right? You're collaborating with friends, and that relationship goes so much farther than just the numbers.
I wanted to spend a minute talking about content creation. And actually, before we go into that, let's actually watch one of your videos where I think this one got 1.2 million views on it.
It was such a huge part of my childhood, and I'm finally able to eat it again today. This is called taho, and it's a silky tofu dessert with small tapioca pearls drenched in a toasty brown sugar syrup. At home, I make a very simple version of this. I buy extra soft tofu from the store, heat it in the microwave, and pour maple syrup on top. It works, but it just doesn't taste the same. But this is what I haven't had all these years. Here in the Philippines, the taho man, or taho vendor, carries freshly cooked tofu, which is still nice and hot, and the syrup that he pours on top has a deeper caramel flavor. This, plus the fact that we're on the island of Boracay with my family, made it taste that much sweeter. It hit me because I guess after 2 decades, after so much of the world has changed, I could still revisit this part of my childhood that stayed exactly the same.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I didn't see that. What's the view count on that one? It's what was it? What was the view count? I didn't see it. 1.3 mil. So then creating content, because I'm actually the perfect interviewer. She has 1.5 million. I have 75 followers. So then all the questions that I have queued up, they're for selfish reasons too, because I'm someone who can't figure it out, and she's figured it out. So going into the content creation, this one's obviously a YouTube short. Talk about some of the preparation for it. Do you write a script? Do you go in a sound room and actually just mic yourself up and you're reading this? So talk a little about what goes into that.
Yeah, keep it simple. Like I don't have a sound room. I have a room though. It's like my office, but I didn't have an office before. So you kind of like you work with what you got. And so like if you see what I had before, it was like this tiny area in our kitchen that I just had to set up. But like slowly we like, as the business grew, made my own room where I can like freely like do voiceovers at any time, but it doesn't have to be fancy. Like I could just use my phone for everything. The only reason why I buy a camera and microphones is because it makes the editing process so much faster. But you can do everything with what you have now. It's like everything's so advanced. And then you're talking about my process. So my process is different. It depends on the content creator. You're not gonna find a content creator that does things the same as I do. Even among my friends, we all do it differently. For this particular video, I was filming everything I had in Boracay. And in my head, I already know, because I've been making, so there was a year where I made 3 videos a day, and it was 3 shorts every day. And you get to that frequency, you're kind of gonna pick up on like what you want to make, and it's like in my head I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk about the whole, and I'm gonna probably mention this. And then I sit down, I write my script, I edit, all that stuff. But I shared this video in particular because when I first started my channel, all I wanted to do was share Filipino food and culture and snacks. And I realized the audience that I was getting with the way that I was presenting myself, my titles, the things that I would talk about in my video, I was attracting Filipinos from the Philippines or Filipinos who just like spoke Tagalog, which was not who I was going for. And it's because they already knew what it was. Like that wasn't my goal. My goal was to get people who maybe are Filipino American, didn't know what their mom was making growing up because they didn't speak the language, or people who are just curious about Filipino food in general, or I just want to like show them what Filipino food is. And so if you notice, the title of that video was, I haven't had this in something years, right? I could have easily called it like, taho, you know, having taho at the Philippines, but that's not gonna attract the type of person that I want to see. So now this video is being seen by all sorts of people who never knew what taho was, maybe didn't even know about Boracay or Filipino food. Now they're in my channel and they're able to see the diversity of the culture. And so I'll sprinkle in other cultures and there are other types of food because like I just need to get them in somehow, you know. So
Yeah, so that's just a YouTube short. I was wondering, and I saw a lot of hands that were raised. There's other content creators in the room. How intrusive does it get to your life, though? I guess I should be asking Doug.
it was kind of hard because like he's, you know, my partner in life and also like in the company, like we work together. So it's like I would lie down in bed and be like, oh, can you remember to blah, 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 blah? And I'd be like, hey, I have this video idea. And we're like literally about to sleep. So that was kind of tough in terms of like filming at the restaurant and stuff. I think I used to do that when I did the 3 videos a day just so I could keep up with the frequency. But eventually you need to start drawing, you know, boundaries for yourself because then that's how you get burned out. And I didn't build this channel to sacrifice that kind of stuff.
I'm not emotionally present.
Right? Yeah. So I know there are content creators that will do that, and that's fine because like that's how they do it. But I take the more casual approach. If you watch this video, watch other videos. It's super casual, and I just focus a lot on this story, and to be relatable with people. But it's not going to be it's not going to be terrible quality, but it's not going to be like high def, all that stuff. I need to live my life too. You know?
Yeah. So it does get intrusive, in other words.
And you can make it as intrusive as you want, or you can, it's up to you.
Because there's the people that Neil and I invite to dinner, and then they don't get invited again.
That would be intrusive.
Go ahead.
So Jason, you've got like these different groups that you've created. Is there a difference aside from regionally on what you do for those groups? Like you've got the Kababaya Network.
Yeah, the Kababaya Network really is now the umbrella organization of all the different groups because each area is different. Really, the needs of Southern California Filipinos is different from Northern California versus like the ones on the East Coast, Chicago, Hawaii. Their experience is different, but what brings us all together is being Filipinos. So really, the content is tailored to each group that they put out.
Okay, so what would you see in terms of the differences? How would you describe it?
When you're talking about like NorCal Filipinos, they're more socially aware. So like issues that are affecting the Filipino community, very much on like they will march for our rights. Where versus Southern California, no offense, because I'm from here, we're very more laid back. We're more like more into food. The food is really
My parents buy fish balls from SoCal.
Yeah, so it's like it's more about like the food, the activities, like events. I mean, we partner a lot with a lot of the concerts. I mean, if the Garden Amp, I mean, those are the throwback concerts. Like they're more looking for ways to get out and connect with each other versus like what NorCal Filipinos. And then same thing with the DC DMV area. They're more politically aware. Chicago, we're still building the team that's the same as Hawaii, so we're still figuring it out.
So we're more cool in SoCal. And NorCal, they're hella doing stuff, right? So.
Do they still say that?
They did. I actually was up in Northern California last week, and there was a lot of, when they were talking, a lot of hella. Yeah. But no, they're a great team, and they're really excited to like dive in. And they actually have been, because I'm more an advisor on how they should do their network. I mean, they built their accounts group and also Instagram in like 3 or 4 months to 10,000 followers each.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, being the overseer of all this, what would you actually recommend to the business owners on how they, and I hate using the word take advantage because I just don't like that connotation, but how can they, the business owners, be more present in SoCal Filipinos so that they actually gain an advantage over their competitors?
Yeah, so like with SoCal Filipinos, I mean, first off, it's more a social network, right? We're really doing the social aspects of the Filipino community. Businesses, we do regulate to like certain posts, but a way to actually be into the group without overtly like doing ads, because that's the one thing. A lot of the other Filipino groups, it's just a billboard of ads. It's like ad after ad promoting food or their services. What you probably want to do is ask certain questions that affect your business, make it Filipino relatable, or provide tips. So that way it doesn't seem like you're doing an advertisement. I mean, there's a lot of times when like, there's a question like, oh, who here is an insurance broker, which we allow, that's posted on the feed. That's where Neil gets his business. Neil. Or right now, everybody's looking for their tax CPA accountant or like tips. Make sure you're answering those questions on those, because then they'll probably come to you and probably use your business. So really, that's kind of like how I could see businesses using it. Because like we're trying to differentiate from like the other groups where it's just all ads.
He's talking about us, actually. So I'm kidding. So, anyways, no, that was a great answer. So I have had the side effect of, gaining a lot of business through SoCal Filipinos and been fortunate. And really, it was everything you said, just being helpful to the community, making sure you're not basically advertising yourself, but you're being an advocate for the type of thing that you do and being a resource to people. Yeah, well, you built a great team. So, I mean, you've done a great job overseeing it. I was glad to watch it from the very beginning, be a part of it, and then be a contributor. So, thank you.
Yeah, speaking of that, actually, Neil and I saw like around the pandemic. That's when SoCal Filipinos was about taking off, because just by a show of hands, who's a moderator on any Facebook group or any kind of forum like that? Does anyone else own a group or so the 1-2 people, and there's more people than that the people who have experienced that know how much work it is and how bad it could go, because you guys have an average of how many posts a day in the group alone?
We vet over, I think, maybe 300 posts a day.
300 posts a day.
About maybe 1,000 members.
Yeah, and you
member requests.
Yeah, and then you have to moderate that, right? Because you can't just let them go into the feed because you get bots and stuff like that. So I remember Neil and I talking about your group right when it started, because we've been part of groups where it was over moderated. Then we have groups where it was drama, but then we saw you guys just hit like a good median. There was like a good sweet spot there. There wasn't any drama. You guys actually let some stuff go. I could joke around in there. Tell us a little about, was that intentional? I would think so. What was the vision behind that? And then let us know what goes into how many moderators that you have to do today to kind of manage all that.
Yeah, with over 100,000 members right now, and I tell you, the member request every day is huge. Because, I mean, again, like I said, although we're SoCal Filipinos, we have a global reach, so everybody's trying to join, but we do moderate everything. This was all trial and error, like learnings throughout like the beginnings, and then, we continually like adjust. Based on like the experiences that we see that's happening in the group. We actually now have a guide on how to moderate SoCal Filipinos, which we do share with the other groups, and they're doing the same thing. So they're doing that.
I think I've only got like 2 posts deleted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's first off the set of rules. I mean, we have to follow those rules. The one thing that we don't tolerate whatsoever is name calling, bullying. That for sure will get you kicked out of the group. Friendly banter is fine. We don't mind that, you're sharing one view, the other sharing the other view, but when you start calling each other names and that's not acceptable, because we want to make sure that this is a safe environment for all views to be shared, right? And also, like with the posts, I mean, that's moderated also. I mean, if I probably go in there right now, there's probably 300 posts waiting to be approved. But I actually don't touch it anymore. In the beginning,
I really wish your buddy John Eric was here today.
He does a lot of it.
So then, speaking of John Eric, I noticed sometimes he'll ask like a very engaging question, just to prompt discussion. Do you guys have like a whole list? I'm going to ask this one today because it works.
Yeah, I mean, that's all his brainchild, is all like the engaging posts and questions. Like, I forget what he puts out there, but we have a whole list of stuff that he comes up with, and we also have a whole library. Like, we use Canva, and there's probably over 300 images that we've created that we sometimes reuse, because we grow so much. I mean, like I said, like on Facebook we grow probably 1,000 every couple of weeks, but on Instagram we grow 1,000 members every 2 days, or followers every 2 days.
Yeah, and how many people do you have making content on Instagram?
Instagram, there on the Instagram team, there's 6 people. On the moderation team for SoCal Filipinos, there's about 15 people that are looking at it.
Yeah, and then kind of on a related note, Jeanelle, do you ever venture off into the comment section of your videos?
Never look at the comments.
It's like nothing
Instagram.
good could come out of it.
Yeah, that's not happening. Actually, it was like one of the first things that we knew he was going to do when Doug started working with me. I was like, I'm not looking at the comments. Can you look at it? Filter it. So usually I'll probably just look in like the first 2 days. He'll filter it and he'll be like, okay, it's safe to look. And then I'll look and I'll be like, oh, great.
It's Doug. It's like a cesspool of negativity down there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, people say all sorts of stuff. I don't get it. I'm like, where did you get this from?
But do you have to reply for
No.
some of us starting off? Because I hear comments helps the reach of the video.
I don't even know. Like, but I think no, I don't think so. So like, I think before my channel started growing, you'll hear a lot of people telling you like how to grow a channel and stuff. But if you think about it, just like a bigger picture, it's like, is it the amount of comments that you're going to be putting in that's going to help your video? You know what I mean? It's like, if you really think about it, maybe your video needs to just be better, and it'll like actually bring in the people, bring in the engagement. So there's been a lot of things that I feel like a lot of like social media gurus say you have to do that I just feel like I feel like I've proven it wrong. Like for example, you always check your comments. I was like, nah, not doing that. You have to reply to every comment. I was like, not doing that either.
Do you say in every video, subscribe and give me a like?
No.
Okay,
No.
because I see that.
Yeah, people do that. So there's all these rules that like people say you have to do, but like you really have to hone in on like, is my content good? Because if your content sucks, none of that other stuff's gonna matter. And I have a friend who doesn't even, like, at least I got Doug checking comments and replying to comments. I have a friend who just doesn't even check at all. Like, he just posts and just nothing. Yeah, nothing, but he's very successful. Like, so all these rules, like, you really have to think of it in like more bigger picture. Like, take a step back. Don't just like listen to what some random social media person says, and grow your channel like that way. It has to be like very.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we screened some of these questions because I didn't want to ask anything bad. But one of the things I wanted to do was show one of Jeanelle's really old videos, but she said no.
I can't be in that room.
Yeah, so what's some of the biggest differences if someone looked at one of your videos from like 2019 versus today?
Well, production quality, first of all, I think. And then also like, you can just tell when somebody doesn't really make content regularly versus like, you just watch it. You watch it, I'm not watching it. You can tell the difference in terms of like my pacing of how I speak, the types of things that I say. I had a very different mindset back then too. Like I was very young, very juvenile in the way that I would say stuff. I would also say I feel like I was more free to speak on certain things because I didn't know. And then you'll see the comment section and you'll learn very quickly what you should and should not say, right?
Well, they tell you quick.
They tell you quick, yeah. So yeah, I think you could just tell like from the pacing and like also the quality of my camera. I'm like, okay, this was before. I would say like a lot of people had iPhones, but not a lot of people were like filming with the iPhone, editing and stuff like that. So yeah, it was kind of cool.
So the camera you use, is it like Joe's right there?
No, I'm sorry. No, it was like an old camera that like my mom had or something. And I was like, let me just, work with it. It's really like I used what I had. And the only reason why I didn't use my phone was because I couldn't see the other side. And if you did use the other side, the front screen, it was really bad. So I decided to use like my mom's
Yeah, the
camera.
front screen's like 720p.
Yeah, this was
Big deal.
this is what 2016. Yeah, and it's not an iPhone 15.
So Jeanelle, I mean, you got millions of subscribers. So what's next on the horizon for you?
More subscribers, more subscribers. Only because like I'm mining that AdSense, right? So like I would say I want to be the bulk of my revenue and is the bulk of my revenue. At this point, I think I just want to like travel, make videos, stay at home, which is like what I do. I just want to stay at home. That's why I did this. Stay at home or travel somewhere that isn't like around here. We are releasing a Scam Musubibo, which I know is like a big thing for my audience. So like we're gonna have merch coming out, which is it's a whole nother beast. I didn't really think I would see myself creating product, having to market it, dishing out my own money, like tens of thousands of dollars to like create a product. But here we are, and I guess we'll see if this is something I'm gonna keep doing or if it's too stressful and I'm just gonna be like, just kidding. I'll just stay and make videos.
With SoCal Filipinos and all the activities that you guys are doing, how do you actually decide on what things to do and what not to do?
What do you mean, like?
So, for example, yeah, exactly. What events to participate in? Because I'm sure you get asked a lot to participate in things.
Yes. There are a lot of events. I think we first started saying like yes to everything, and we started growing the team. You can actually see one of our team members is here. But we have to pick and choose like which one really would benefit the Filipino community with our partnership. Because we supported your event, Filipino Event today, but we also have our other programs too. Our new business program, we're doing Filipino Food Month. So it's really we have to pick and choose which one really would benefit the organization. SoCal Filipinos.
Got it. Okay. And to touch back on John Eric, right? Because I do see his post.
Yes.
That's come out like at 2 a.m. or something like that, right?
He works late.
Yeah, he does. He's a CPA, an accountant.
Yeah, he is a CPA.
Yeah. So yeah, after he's all done with work, he puts that on, and I see that. But you talked about being early on, so because you're the founder, he's a co-founder, right? And when you said you met him, it was just what was it in passing, or did you?
No, we actually were part of a group together, and we actually were like, we need to do this on our own. Let's just create it and let's see what happens. And we, like I said, like when we first started, we thought it was just gonna be all memes, right? Poking fun of like how we grew up as Filipino Americans, the nuances of being Filipino American. But as we grew, we saw it's like, okay, we need to put purpose because now there's all these people starting to join. 10,000, 20,000. When we hit 50,000, like, well, okay, that's when, we obviously are starting to get noticed. And obviously we're now, I mean, I hate to say this, but SoCal Filipinos is a brand now. Like a lot of people are aware of SoCal Filipinos and anybody doing social media. I think that's what you need to think about is what's your brand? What do you want to put out there? Because then, people will relate to it and will want to come in and just, work with you, be with you.
Yeah, because for you and John Eric, you guys viewed it 3-4 years ago as just something else, and now it's blown up into something entirely different that actually Filipinos check in on every single day.
Yeah.
So where do you see SoCal Filipinos and the brand going?
Well, I mean, we're the formation of the Come By Network. I mean, we actually have been asked by Toronto, Austin, Houston, to Las Vegas to create the same version of SoCal Filipinos. We're putting it stop right now, just because we have the other areas that we want to work on first, because we want to make sure that they're established before we go to any other areas. We have our brand partnerships too. We're going to continue that because any brand partnerships we
we get, we put it back in SoCal Filipinos. We put it back into the program that we have. We're a nonprofit. Everybody that works in SoCal Filipinos are all volunteers. None of us get paid. So, I mean, it's been great to see the growth, and we're really excited for everything that's happening. I mean, last year, we did the first Filipino meetup at Disneyland. We didn't think that many people would go. All of a sudden, 1,000 people showed up. We're like, whoa, okay. We had the big picture in front, and we're doing it again this year. Actually, where'd ICI go? He's our DJ for our reception. We actually turned the one day into a whole weekend. So April 19th to the 21st, and right now we have 1,800 people already registered. And we're not even close to the date. We're up a month and a half. And, you know, with these different groups, people attach to it. I mean, the Disney team, we have specialty groups within our, like the Disney group. We didn't know that there was that many Filipino fans of Disney. I mean, we started the accounts in August. They hit 10,000 in December. And it's crazy. And now that's another one that we're asking, can we have one for Aulani? Can we have one for Orlando? We even got somebody from Shanghai asking if they could do a Filipino. I didn't realize there was a lot of Filipinos in Shanghai. They're like, can we have our own group? So we're having a lot of requests. Eventually, we will get to those areas and have the Kababayan Network be a global entity.
It's awesome. Who have the two of you been approached by as far as like product placement and how does that usually go?
I mean, I could announce it because I just signed the contract. Well, we're entering into a year-round contract with TFC. Along with the production of a SoCal Filipino shows. That's something that we're working on. So we're also now seen as a media entity. So you'll see us out at like most recently the Manila International Film Festival. We were on the red carpet, meeting the celebrities. So we're doing a lot of that. And we actually have a lot of people on our team that, you know, do the camera work, the interview, and then we have actually an Emmy Award-winning editor that works with us that does all the editing. He actually still edits for like NBC. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, it varies. Like I'll have cookware brands, maybe some lifestyle brands that'll reach out. The most recent one was Babbel. It's a language learning app. So, you know, like Hexclat. So it just like, it depends. And how I go about this is like maybe they'll just reach out via email, or I work with a network or a few people who will bring me brand deals. But yeah, we'll sift through each one, pick and choose, because I only have so much time, and like they gotta pay well, because otherwise it's also my audience, right? It's like I can't always, you could if you wanted to. There are some content creators I know that do that. They'll just like put whatever ads, and that's fine. But I think for me, my audience specifically can get kind of picky. So I do have to make sure that whatever I'm placing in it makes sense for them and they'll actually buy it.
Do you and Doug have to ever pay for dinner?
Pay for dinner? Like, oh yeah.
Right? Jeanelle?
Oh yeah, no, yes, because I don't want to post about it sometimes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I will actually pay for dinner because I don't want to, so like, let's say there's a product that I want. I could reach out to the brand and they could give it to me, but then I don't want to post about it. Like, so then I'll just pay with my own money so I don't ever have to post about it again, because it's also free for them, right? Like you should be paying like however much your rate is, but they don't. Some of these brands, okay, there's a lot of talk about brands taking advantage, no, content creators taking advantage of brands.
Yes.
But no one ever talks about the brands taking advantage of content creators, right? So like, how much, do you know how much it is to like get film crew, to get someone to write you a script for your commercial, to get somebody casted to like, you know, whatever, like those commercials, like how much is a Super Bowl commercial? How much is a normal commercial? That stuff's a lot of money, right? But then when it comes to a content creator who actually has a connection with the people that they can build, all of a sudden it's like $250 and free product.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
That pisses me off.
Yeah, and the one thing like about food too is like I make sure that like when I go to a restaurant I don't say who I am,
Yes.
because I've had one time when I went to a restaurant, they found out I was there.
Yes.
DM me found my receipt and refunded me the money. I was like, and then now you feel forced to
Yes.
post that content. So
Exactly.
it's like, I mean, although I did take a picture, but
Yeah.
just for my personal purpose, I make sure that I don't really like say anything back from here.
Yeah, so you don't see, like, you get the free stuff, but then you realize once you get the free stuff, it's like you guys really need to be paying, but they don't. And yeah, sometimes they get real rude too. Some of them get really, really like sassy, like, oh yeah, if you can find someone to pay that much, great. And then it's like, oh, okay, like you're. Anyway, it just like irks me when all people talk about is like, oh yeah, these content creators asking for free food, free this, free that, and it's like, yeah, but then like there's the return that you could potentially get. Like you want like from GG to Vide, you know, like that's crazy, right? So like if you got a bunch of content creators that post about your stuff, like that can go a really long way. So anyway, just something I want to throw out there.
Yeah.
Question for both. What other challenges have you guys faced on your journey to get where you are now? I know we talked about a lot of the good things that you two have accomplished, but there had to be some things that may have prevented you maybe from almost not even taking SoCal Filipinos where it is. Maybe you stopping your YouTube channel, but it's something you guys have encountered and had you overcome it.
Money. So like I thankfully Doug, I lived with him in his parents' old house, so I didn't have to pay rent. Like imagine like if I had to do a YouTube channel, like there's so much work that goes behind a YouTube channel, and like you have a job. I'm just like I tried. It's very, very hard to do, like build a community and have a job at the same time. So that was really, really difficult. And I quit my job because I think the pressures of work was just too much. There was no way I could have time building my channel. And so I started to pick up different jobs. I'll work like as a contractor for like different companies and things like that. That was really, really difficult. I think just having to support yourself while you do this, because I think people make that first video, just like myself, like you make your first post or first video and you're like, this is gonna get a million views. And then you're like 0. And like 2 because you watched it twice.
It's only surprising to see what videos actually do well.
I know.
It's crazy because like your Tahoe video, I don't know why is it any about our platform. Anytime you post Tahoe, it's guaranteed a million views for some reason.
It'll go crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to. So there's that. There's the money. There's this, supporting yourself financially, and then I think just mentally. So it's a lot of like the mental blocks that personally I had to go through because I know that before we started this panel, we were talking about just being Filipino American or even just being Asian American. The expectations that you have from your parents and from your family. Like it was a bad time when my family found out I quit my job, right? It's like, why would you do that? It was such a good job. Why would you give this up? Like, we immigrated here. Why would you do this?
You're supposed to be a nurse.
Yeah. Anything but an entrepreneur. They did for you. Yeah. So that was, there's a lot of the mental stuff that you have to overcome. And then the comments, like, good luck with that, So you're just like getting hit one after the other. And if you make it out, then all of them are like, the perks are worth it. It's just, you do go through a lot of stuff that people don't see. Like, you see that video where I'm like, this is what I ate, blah, blah, blah. But like behind the scenes, I'm just like, oh my God, like, I'm so sick of what people have to say. And it's, you really got to take care of yourself if you're in this industry.
Yeah, I'm lucky that, when we started, it was just me and John Eric coming up with all the content, right? So that was the tough part, like having to think of new things, being creative. Then, as we grew larger, we're like, well, we need to start bringing people on. And we're lucky we have a huge team of volunteers that are always willing. And now, we used to have to like seek out content. We actually get tagged a lot for collaborations of people who want their content to be seen. Just because of the network and average or number of followers that we have. So we kind of pick and choose which ones that we get to share. But we still come up with like a good amount of the content still, but we also like to highlight, other content creators. Some of their stuff is really funny. Some of the stuff that we get, they're tagged, we're like, oh, what is that?
We posted.
No, we don't accept all collaborations. but we're lucky, like, you know, people want to collaborate with us and we get to pick and choose which ones that we get. So really, now we have like a system where we create stuff, we promote whatever's happening in the community, and then we'll post like something that's like funny. Because we want to make sure that it's a mixture of not also just like media, because, you know, photos, videos, but also different types of content that's on our feed. Because, I mean, when you think about SoCal Filipinos, yes, we're an organization, but we're almost like a media group now.
So your both of your journey, there's no journey where it's just all upward trajectory. There are probably some plateaus in there, even some lulls in there. What are some mistakes that the two of you could share, or maybe things that they could even avoid if they wanted to make a YouTube channel or even get Instagram followers or even say Facebook? You know, what's some mistakes where you felt you were spinning your wheels?
Make sure you credit everybody that uses, like, you use the content. One, get permission. Two, make sure you credit. That was the biggest learning, like, early on, because we were just trying to build.
You get copyright flagged for that?
We have
Okay.
we got one which is questionable. We fought it and we actually won. Where it was two little girls opening up the ice cream, and it was an ice cream was fish, and then we got copyright flagged for that. And some company was claiming ownership, like, no, this is not yours. And so we went back and forth, and we actually Instagram sided with us. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I think like overthinking is a big one. I think like because in the beginning you just or perfectionism, whatever you want to call it, like you put so much time and effort in one video. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you're like you want to try so hard to make this perfect, but there's just no way your first video is gonna be that good. So you're gonna need to like keep going, and then once you give up, like that's it for you, right? That's the end of the road. But like if you just keep going, your videos get better. You're able to pick up on what actually works in social media. And until you get to that point, like the numbers, like unfortunately, like the people just aren't going to follow you. So you're gonna have to. It's like a whole nother language that you have to learn. And like, how long does it take to learn a language, right? Like it takes years. So I think expecting people to just go and like all the stuff that you make from the very beginning is like, just expect yourself to not be good in the beginning, okay? And then just like build your way up, get better at it. Like I mentioned, my channel, the way it started is totally different from what it is now. And that's because of all the learnings I made along the way.
Okay, so you know, this last one for those of you thinking about creating a Facebook group, but I wanted to ask you, Jason. So, how do you actually go through? Like, you know, you have moderators, right? Is there a qualification for a moderator, and then also, what are the benefits to being a moderator?
So we actually at times will put an open application for anybody that wants to join the team, whether it's want to be an ambassador or even a moderator. From there, like they apply, they actually go through an interview process with our executive team, and then from there, John, Eric, and I. As being part of the SoCal Filipino team, I mean, a lot of them get access. I mean, like the Manila International Film Festival, they were able to go if they wanted to go. A lot of them love seeing Piolo Pascual in person, and a lot of them love seeing those celebrities. We also get invited to other events, so they always get first dibs. Whether it's concerts, comedy shows, I always offer that to them first before me. So they get access.
Yeah, and I know Jeanelle talked about sometimes your videos just have to get better, and that there's some videos where you thought it was going to get views and it didn't. But what if I'm just real stubborn? It's like, this video is good, damn it. What do you think, and what the two of you do as far as
Delete and the upload. Delete and the upload.
I'm gonna watch it myself 1,000 times. Now, but for something like that, what do you think about just paying for doing Google AdWords, Facebook marketing, or how much do you guys even look at analytics? I know there's like 3 questions in there.
I mean, we actually look at analytics just to see like who's watching. Really, what's most important for us is what's the engagement on a post. If it's not doing well, then we know like, okay, this type of content probably is not good for our followers. We do. I mean, I was kidding, but we do the delete and re-upload just to see if it'll do well at a different time. Because sometimes it's just
How long do you wait?
It's also timing. I mean, you can tell within like the first 2 hours, like if it's not going to do well.
I would think you got penalized if you do that. Okay.
No, but we do wait like a time frame. Like, okay, so we'll like we might post in the morning, or we might post like on another day, especially if the content's not doing well.
So analytics, I loosely look at analytics. So I have enough data. Oh yeah, so I have enough data to kind of like get an idea of like what's good, but like you can't let analytics hold you back that much. There are some content creators I know that like they're very to the T, will follow what their analytics say. But for me, it's just like you're not gonna know if something's gonna be good, like if it's something new, until you actually post it. Like that's how you got your data in the first place, right? So you're gonna have to like continue posting like new stuff and just see what works. And then when it comes to ads, like who here has purchased something that sucked, but you bought it because of the marketing? How long does that last? You know, so it's kind of like that. Like, I guess if you have money to throw at it, go for it. But if it sucks in the beginning, you should probably, maybe you're like, this video is good. Maybe like tweak it. Like maybe like, I know it's good because the message is good, but maybe have a different intro or like word it differently or whatever. But like, you could throw money at it, but it's like, I feel like it's a waste of money because then you're not going to get any conversions out of it. So yeah, right? So it's,
I'm not a proponent for people that like buy followers or likes because it really doesn't really turn into anything. Cause I've seen like somebody who has like, oh, they have a lot of followers, but when you look at the post, I'm like, how do they have 2,000 views but 1,100 like people have liked it? Brands can actually read through that. And that's the reason why I look at analytics because of the brands that we look because they want to know like, okay, how's this post doing?
yes.
But I think one of the keys for like social media for us is making sure that we're consistent, like when you're posting, whether it's like once a day, once a day, or like I know like with YouTube that some people do like twice a week. It's really like whatever your cadence is, you decide on.
Yeah. And also the consistency is for the algorithm because it needs to know that you're legit. Like, I don't know if you all remember YouTube in the early days. There was a lot of clickbaity stuff and like just like low quality content. So now they're getting smarter, but also just for your own sake. So if you get better at actually making videos, it is good to keep up the consistency. Otherwise, you're just going to drop off.
Hopefully we were consistent enough on posting on SoCal Filipinos about this event, Jason. So, but
Shared it up.
you shared it. Yeah. So anyways, we want to go ahead and take it to the audience. So does anyone have a question they want to ask?
Can we get someone from PATS?
Someone from past.
Okay, so this question is for both of you. Do you have someone that does your editing for you?
It's me. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually work with an editor for especially like the interviews and red carpet stuff that we do. Yeah.
Hello. Thanks for the good sharing of information. I actually had two questions, but kind of related to this question is that one thing I look at it when I'm looking into a new business, I look at how I would structure it, right? So I know you are editing your own videos, but if you were perhaps making this into a business, into a structured way, how much of your time could you take yourself out of the equation, right? Obviously you have to be in the video, but do you think you can outsource the whole portion of taking the video, editing, marketing it out, and all that stuff, and how possible is it? So that's my first question. And second question was just that in the very beginning when you first started, was it gradual growth of subscribers and your exposure, or was it like times of like, or it's for both of you? Sorry, was it times like that? It was like sudden growth because of the one video or one post or anything like that?
In the beginning, it was very slow growth, and I had a spurt because of I had one video that took off, but because I just wasn't as consistent, it didn't grow gradually. So now I post, so remember when I said I posted 3 videos a day every day? I was getting like a ton of people seeing it just because there's so much content, and they're good enough to get pushed out to people. So now it's so I think I had a really big boom there, and then now it's just continued growing because I have a hang of it now. In terms of structuring my business, Like, absolutely. Like, I've tried to find editors. It's so much more work than you think to like get somebody to actually do the editing how you want it for my style of videos. So if I was gonna start again, I could probably do a talking head video and have someone else cut it. And I'm so jealous of those creators that could do that, because even now there's AI in Premiere Pro, or you can just cut, like, it'll cut it for you. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? But I decided to be like entertainment and like, you know, in this space. So it's very, very hard for me to get somebody to do the editing. And so as I'm always trying to find ways to make things more efficient, and I've just, at this point, right now, I've given up at this stage, and I outsourced a lot of things to Doug. I have kind of a YouTube team that I talk to, but I do the editing. So everything else, everyone else is gonna do. Editing's me, and that's just how I'm gonna do it for now, and it might change later.
Hi Jeanelle, Jason, thank you so much for the talk, some great gems. My question is, do you have a content strategy depending on the platform? So for you, Jeanelle, do you have a content strategy for shorts and a different content strategy for your long form? And for you, Jason, do you have a content strategy for Facebook that's different from Instagram?
That's my friend Ray. He just moved here from London, so hi Ray. Actually, like with SoCal Filipinos, I mean, the content's there, right? Because like it's all member submitted content. We do come up with some of the different ones, but for more on the Instagram side, it's all curated, because obviously the members can, or the followers can, like tag us in stories where we'll repost, but we actually have a plan. We do come up with a strategy. I kind of said it earlier, where it's kind of like you'll see funny content, educational content, event, and then sponsored posts. So you'll see kind of that. Now I just told you like what the order is. So now you're like, okay, so now I know what's gonna come next on the SoCal Filipinos Instagram. But yeah, we do have that planned out. Sometimes like it does change based on like the collab posts. Like we like to collab a lot with Face, because they're also promoting Filipino artists, you know, or we'll collab with FILAM Arts, or we'll collab with SIPA. So it all depends. But we try to fit everything in when we can. I mean, for us, there's so much content now where we don't have to come up with it, that we have to pick and choose, like, you know, because we also want to make sure that, because we have the amount of followers, we want to make sure we're also highlighting the people in the community that's out there, as well as the products. Because, you know, we get a lot of requests like, I just started my business, can you help us? I'm like, well, like, let me see what your product is, because then I don't need just like somebody who's creating t-shirts on Canva and like doing that. But like, we want to make sure like it's product, like, you know, like somebody that's, you know, bringing product from the Philippines, and you know they have all this stuff, and like we're more inclined to support them. And then I know somebody asked about the previous person, like what I said about really what had us grow was Gigi Hadid. I mean, I have to thank her. That's what really jumped us.
Love her. I love
Yeah, I mean,
her.
we were consistently growing, and then just because of her one like, it exponentially we grew. Oh, and that post that she liked was a tortang talong recipe video.
Oh, that's why everyone started making it.
Yeah, it was that one
I was
video,
so curious.
and that one has right now 35 million views, I think.
Oh my god, that's why. Okay, because like I was like, why is everyone making tortang talong all of a sudden?
Yeah, that was
right?
us. That was our fault.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then you were asking about format. So like naturally short form and long form is going to be different. It's just something you have to learn. But if you're marketing your business, or if you want to be a content creator, I focus on one, because you're going to burn out really fast if you think you're going to do all of them. I picked YouTube. I think pretty standard is Instagram, or Facebook, I would say, right? Or LinkedIn, whatever it is. Pick one and just stick with it. Learn that platform, and then you can move on to the other ones.
Yeah, we're just getting started on YouTube now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
First off, kudos to FILAM for hosting this event here. And I think it's appropriate, because almost 20 years ago now, a handful of UCI alumni created a website called bakiwai.com. I was actually part of that 20 years ago. I'm excited to see, you know, SoCal Filipinos kind of taking that to the next level. My question is, the last couple of years, there's this term that came about called Pinoy baiting, wherein, you know, these influencers, they realize that whenever they make any content and, you know, Filipino-centric enough, they see an uptick in their views. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought about this one a lot actually because I mean I'm Filipino, so I feel like I just naturally could talk to my people, and that's already like part of my content anyway, like naturally. But I think part of it too is kind of like I feel like you're disempowering Filipinos as if like they're just people that are watching, like they're living, breathing people. If they enjoy the content, that's cool, like let them enjoy it. But of course, like my perspective, there's different types of perspectives. I can see how like I see a lot of foreigners doing it, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like you're desperate. That's how I see. Like, this is how you're gonna grow a channel. Fine. But I also think like that's a beautiful thing to see our people so supportive, and I think it feeds into a lot of like our Filipino pride. We love anything Filipino. I don't know if you saw that meme, but like someone's like, 1/8 Filipino, and you're like, yep, they're Filipino, and like I'm part of that. I love watching things that are like, oh my god, this person's Filipino, or like, oh my god, they're eating something Filipino. Like I think it's important to know that, to also see like, okay, these people shouldn't really be preying on Filipinos, but at the same time, like we are our own people. Like the people in the Philippines who are watching this stuff, like they like it, like let them like it. If you're not stealing things from them, if you're not hurting them, I think that's fine. But I think, yeah, like let them enjoy their thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you on a lot of the whole Pinoy baiting. Pinoy baiting is like hard, right? Because if there's a foreigner, non-Filipino, but that's their main content, it shows that their appreciation of the culture. I could appreciate that. But if there's a content creator that just posts one post about like food or at the beach in Boracay, like I was like, okay, I know what you're doing. Like that's where it's problematic, because really they're just trying to build their base. The one thing about the Philippines, I mean, we all know it's like the #1 like social media user in the world, so they're always on their phone. So that, I mean, I could see that happening with Pinoy baiting. I mean, that's a tough one. Like depending on who the content creator is, and we know what their brand and what their like mission is. We could support them, or I mean, not. I mean, that's really it's all really all up to us. I mean, there's the unsubscribe, there's the unfollow. So make sure you use that if you feel like they're taking advantage.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the downer question, Frederick.
I mean, I'm gonna go one more. Thank you, Fred, man. Just you should be zap, not zap, zap. So, anyways, let's do one more. Who bought a raffle ticket over here? I'm kidding. So, let's go one more, Edwin.
Hi, thank you, Jeanelle and Jason, for your insightfulness. As a high school teacher for over 15 years, the top 3 career choices are content is one of them, is content creators. So thank you for having that platform. So the question is, what questions should that person ask, whether a high school student, a second career, looking into second career, what questions should they ask so as they think about creating content so that they can optimize their launch? And what things should they think about so they have a plan?
I mean, really, what's their mission? Like with what and that mission leads to like, what's their brand? Like, what is it that you want to put out there? I mean, if you're just gonna go ahead and put like random things out there, I don't think that's gonna catch. Like if you focus on like one mission, because then you're building your own personal brand. So like for SoCal Filipinos, if you look at our mission, it's connecting the Filipino community in Southern California. That's our mission, and that's what our content represents. And that's really what, as these young kids, I mean, it's funny to even say this, like young kids, one social media content creator as a job, that wasn't thought of when I was here in the late 90s. But I mean, I know now it's a viable option. I mean, Jeanelle, you're proof of it. It's really like, what's their personal brand? What do they want to put it out there? If they're a budding artist, put that out there. Videos of you drawing or, singing, whatever it is, what's their personal brand?
I like that. So basically, like what Jason said, but it's more of like also your why. Like, why are you doing it? Because I think a lot of kids see it and they just want to be famous. But like, you don't even know what you're going into, you know? Like, you gotta know, like, the things people have said about me online where I'm just like, why would you say this? Like, I'm this terrible person? And I'm just like, okay, like, that's the kind of stuff that you kind of have to be prepared for. And so they really have to ask, why are you doing this? And that's fine. Like, if you want the fame and the money, that's fine. But you have to have that why, because when shit hits the fan, that's what's gonna keep you going. Like, for me, it's, I'll make Filipino food videos and I will get backlash from my own people. And so it's okay, it's like both, right? You got the people defending you and the people like kind of like just taking a jab at you, and then I have to just take a step back and be like, why am I doing this in the first place? Oh yeah, because I want more people to know about Filipino culture. And then I just kind of have to be like, yeah, okay, fine. And then like just push through with it, knowing that the way I do, like the way I title my videos, like some Filipinos will get really mad about that. Like when I'm like, this is like mochi, you know? And they're like, why do you have to call it mochi? And I was like, you don't even know like the kind of things that I had to go through to learn that this is what I got to do for people to know about our food. So yeah, ask your why, because when things get tough, you're gonna need that to keep going.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, sorry.
No, what's funny is like as content creators, I mean, out of all the positive comments, we focus on like that one bad comment that will bring the data. I was like, we ignore like the 90, like, oh my God, I love this. You're doing great. We love you. Then there's that one comment and you're like, and brings you down. That's the one thing also, like, don't read into the negative comment because it was just one comment.
Yeah.
Versus all the positives.
Yeah. Get their parents to do it for them, because like it's already really hard to be a high schooler. Like I see this, I'm just like, dude, like I see all these young kids and I feel so bad for them. Even Bella Porch, right? Bella Porch was super young when she got big, and I was like, the kind of abuse that she got online, like she needs to have a really good support system. So especially if it's a high schooler. High school was tough for me, and that was before social media was a thing. So imagine how much worse it is now. So if they really want to do this, like you gotta have a good support system. So like I really think parents should be the ones to screen it. Maybe they can't see the comment. Like do the thing that Doug does for me, especially if they're young, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah, we wish we could take every question here. Jason and Jeanelle will stick around, so hopefully they could hang out and answer some of your questions in person. But in the meantime, let's give them a round of applause for being part of our panel.
Thank you, guys. And so